in the news today, Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo is asking new managers of ECG to work hard to reduce the revenue losses that have hit the firm over the years. The minister said this when a power distribution services company formally secured its license to manage ECG for the next 20 years. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
Osafo-Maafo argued that the new managers must justify private firms' participation in power distribution sector of the country.
It is a fact that the private sector participation activity of the Power Compact program has begun the fulcrum around which the rest of the Power Compact projects revolve. If we are transferring the operations of ECG to PDS today, we can be excited about significant investment that will come to the power sector.
He also argued that the Power Distribution Services Company should carry out the operations in a way not to let Ghanaians regret in allowing them to come on board. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta said the decision to allow the Power Distribution Services Company to come on board was aimed at dealing with revenue losses, and they are hopeful that would be achieved.
There are two parts to the problems that we have. One, the legacy issues of the PPAs that we have signed. And so that we are going to tackle on a different platform. And then, of course, the issue of technical, commercial losses that we are talking about, which is what we expect PDS to cure. And really, when you have over 25% technical, commercial losses, you can see the changes and savings that will come to the users of it, both domestic and...
The board chair of ECG, Kelly Gajipo, noted that the new manager should realize that ECG workers are the best human resource one can find in the power sector when it comes to distribution.
Technically speaking, the two companies are starting something of a fresh life with new business processes, organizational structures, and attitudes. I might add here, however, to PDS that I can assure you that the short time I've been at ECG, I must say you are actually inheriting some of the finest people in the electricity distribution business. And therefore, like any proud father, please take good care of them. Please. Or else, as they say at wedding ceremonies, I'll come and take my thing back.
US Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, was optimistic the new management contract would help create more jobs in the country.
Completing the compact will enhance the everyday lives of ordinary Ghanaians by improving the supply of reliable power. Completing the compact will power Ghana for accelerated and sustainable economic growth. Completing the compact will increase private sector investment and productivity through reliable and stable power. And completing the compact will create better opportunities for self-employment by stimulating economic growth.
Board chair of the Millennium Development Authority, Professor Yain Tiamwa, disclosed that Ghana has been able to draw down the over $400 million Millennium Challenge Compact to help re-strategize the power sector.
Meanwhile, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced that electricity tariffs will remain the same until the end of the second quarter of this year. In a statement released today, the PRC said the decision was taken due to the critical emerging issues in the sector which are expected to affect the final tariff setting. The issues include the takeover by PDS. In an interview, Consumer Protection Advocate Kofi Kapito welcomed the PRC's decision.
There's a new Ghana on the block. Everybody is coming. Ghana has become attractive for investment, especially energy. So I'm sure in terms of the tariffs that PRC, and I agree with PRC, you know the reason why? If ECG on their own could reduce utilities through, last year with all the challenges that ECG was going through, and they've managed to let electricity or energy be a little better than what it used to be, why would you want to come in without even doing anything? without even knowing the market, without even testing anything that you want it to be increased. So I'm with PRC 100%. Let them come, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. If they find any challenges, then they can come back to PRC and say that, listen, when we came, this is what we identified, so let us increase.
You're still watching Business Live. In other news tonight, President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Appiagyei-Dankwa the first, has criticized a section of the private sector for fronting for foreign nationals and, in the process, breaching the Chamber's regulation. Speaking at the inauguration of the Chamber's Council and Central Executive Committee, Nana Appiagyei-Dankwa the first tasked the new Executive Council members to prioritize compliance of business regulations over profit-making. Apologies, having issues with sound there. We'll fix that and get that story right back to you. Let's move on now. Developers in the real estate industry have welcomed government's plan to set up a $1 billion fund to support the lower class to acquire affordable homes. They are, however, hoping that the fund will achieve its aim of helping to bridge the housing deficit, which currently stands at around 2 million.
The meaning of affordable housing continues to be debatable. Even though a section of the public thinks reduced pricing should be the main factor, others say the length of time given to pay for a home makes the facility affordable or not. President Akufo-Addo, in his State of the Nation address, acknowledged that the problem of financing accommodation still persists. Although several efforts by government to solve the housing deficit challenge has proven futile, the president revealed that his government will soon launch a 1 billion cedi fund to help the low-income earners.
There is an acute shortage of user-friendly, decent housing for people in middle and low-income brackets in our country. This is a long-standing problem that gets worse with each passing day. It is time to tackle the issue and find a resolution. The Ministry of Finance is working to launch a 1 billion Ghana cedi housing fund that would target low-income earners. Mr. Speaker, government will continue with the other housing projects with the police, armed forces, and government workers across the country through agencies like the State Housing Corporation.
Some players in the real estate development industry have welcomed the idea of the fund, hoping that it will go a long way to address the challenges in the sector. Patrick Bonfol is the president of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA.
The developer has to bring infrastructure to that land on his own. You bring electricity to the land, and then afterwards you don't recover those costs. ECG says the land is ours, Ghana Water Company, you bring water to the land, they say it's theirs. You don't recover any monies. So all these ones, you have to put it on the price of the house. We hope to get to a point where all the lands that we are going to build on in the near future, maybe with this fund that is coming, it will have infrastructure already in it. So when we come, we just have to concentrate on building the houses.
Others believe that the fund should be targeted at solving infrastructure and utility challenges to help reduce the cost of production for developers.
This government is responsible for building our roads and infrastructure, and that's one of the core functions of government. We have paid taxes and we keep paying taxes for government to accumulate some money to do these things. So when real estate developers now have to add the cost of these onto the price of a house for you to buy, after you have already paid your taxes to government for these, then we have a problem.
We have needs. We have a constitutional right to have that. All the Ghanaians have the right to have their own quality houses. And besides, we have the banks with several financial and legal restraints not to give the money because they want, the purpose of a bank is to make money out of the money, make profit out of the money they give. So let's once and for all try to get this fund fast, because Ghana needs to have people healthy and safely and comfortable in their houses.
Until the problem of housing is solved, many people will continue to struggle to earn a decent abode. For Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
Now, President of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Ajimandua, has cautioned prices of fuel could see an upward review should the cedi continue to depreciate. Speaking to Joy Business, he said oil marketers have maintained their prices in the face of the depreciation and they can no longer hold it.
According to a Bloomberg source, the cedi has weakened 8.6% this year against the dollar, the worst among more than 140 currencies. This decline in the currency has stirred concerns among the business community, with the Association of Oil Marketing Companies being the latest to join the agitation. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the association Kweku Ajimandua said a sustained depreciation could force an upward review in prices of oil products.
It is. It's something which is nobody's happy about it. But we believe that it will be, what we want to believe is that it's a short-term thing. But if it's going further, that will be, it's going to be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before it comes down. That's going to be terrible for us. The exchange rate is a critical factor in the pricing. It's because it affects our ex-refinery price. It's from ex-refinery price that we develop all the derivatives to end up to the price. So if it's affecting the mother one, then obviously it's going to really affect us. And we are hoping that it's just a spike.
But if it does, are you going to review your price?
Definitely. Definitely, we are not charity organizations. It's business we are doing. We need to be able to even get the money to go and buy another set of fuel and come to the station.
Mr. Diafeda went on to explain why oil marketing companies have maintained their prices in the two pricing windows despite forecasts depicting a hike.
You know, when it's a projection, what is happening is that normally when you're pricing, we look at a sustained pressure. For instance, now you know the dollar-cedi relationship. It might be short-term. It might be a spike. If it's a spike, you don't go ahead increasing your prices. But it's going to be on a sustainable basis. Then you need to rethink. That's why we see the prices like that. It's a wait-and-see attitude. It's only when it becomes sustainable, then obviously you have to work at your pricing to be able to sustain your business.
Sheila Tamaklo for Joy Business.
Let's do some aviation-related news now. And SKT Aeroshata has become the first local drone operating company to be licensed by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority for commercial activity. At the presentation of the certificate by the authority, Managing Director of SKT Aeroshata lauded the regulator's effort in supporting drone technology in the country.
The company was issued license for commercial usage in the areas of agriculture, mining and construction after undergoing all 5 phases of the certification process by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. Derek Annan is the Managing Director of SKT Aeroshata Company, operators of the drones.
I think that to be certified gives us a certain credibility when we are approaching customers in different industries, for example, agriculture, construction, mining, any industry that you go to, you can just show that you do have a certificate. And also, it will also help us streamline our services. Also, so we know that we are licensed to do this, so we just do, so we don't go across board. I think as a nation, the country and the government and Ghana Civil Aviation have done a lot, because certain countries in Africa, to name a few, like Kenya, they don't allow drone operators to operate. And I think they have actually opened it up. It's just that I think that young people should try and get the right certification.
Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the presentation ceremony, Head of Safety Regulations at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority said supporting drone technology will help improve service delivery in some sectors.
The aviation industry is actually expanding, and also we are catching up on technology. Formerly, some aerial work strictly had to be done by aircraft, one that is being flown by a pilot, or you have a pilot in the aircraft, and sometimes they need to fly low, trying to survey an area either for mining purposes or for mapping. It becomes a bit dangerous sometimes, and it's also quite expensive. We are flying an actual aircraft, but you cannot compare the price of a drone to an actual aircraft, so it's cheaper. It makes it more affordable.
With the upsurge of drone usage in the country, Aviation Safety Inspector, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Senam Ataja, assured constant work was being done to enhance safety and security issues.
Security, we can never be done with security because it's an evolving threat, and we are always looking for countermeasures against the threats that are coming up every now and then. So that process is ongoing, and we've hit some timelines that we set for ourselves, but we are nowhere near done. It's going to be an ongoing process from now onwards.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklu.
You're watching Business Live. Now, curiosity and a bit of hunger. That's what got Jeffrey Abua exploring the use of abandoned car tires for furniture pieces. Today is not just a business venture, but his contribution to curbing pollution from plastic waste. We bring you his story on today's episode of the Joy Business Van. Scrap tires, burnt to retrieve steel, or in some cases used to roast livestock. Then, dangerous emissions, which will later create health problems. There are millions of such scrap tires across the country, not used for any purpose. And those that are burned become breeding places for thousands of mosquitoes. Tires. He's brought me to one of the places in Accra where he collects them. Tires which would eventually be turned into beautiful furniture pieces. At his workshop in Medina, a suburb of Accra, Jeffrey gets to work. Jeffrey, who was a wallpaper painter, recounts how the idea to make furniture pieces from vehicle tires came to him.
I had this client, Akwesi Bonsu, of My Story magazine. Akwesi Bonsu wanted a center table, but the way he described a center table, I realized I can't get some in Ghana, but he saw it online. It was not type per se, but a round wooden furniture sort of, so he wanted that.
In his quest to satisfy his client, he began to roam.
We roamed the streets of Accra, we couldn't get. So for us, when we got to Jowulu, they had packed some car tires, I think roughly about 100. And these guys were about to set fire in them. They were whisk tires, they were about to set fire in them. Some were big, different sizes. So we drove past, and then I was like, Akwesi, do you know we can make tables out of these car tires? Then he laughed. I also laughed. But then, honestly, genuinely, I had no idea what I was talking about.
At first, it sounded like a joke, but Jeffrey would give it a try anyway. Today, Jeffrey is making a coffee table using a recycled tire, plywood, and colored ropes sourced locally to produce his designs. Some of his furniture pieces come with a bit of African fabric. Typically, how long does it take to finish something like this?
Something like this tire is small, and then more or less like a side table. It would take me roughly 3 to 4 hours. That's with enough concentration. 3 to 4 hours to finish weaving completely. You get it? You see it's just like this, oh, it's just a tie and ropes, but the color variations, the design, I have to think, I have to measure, I have to know where to put this, where not to put it, because if I should start this thing here, I'm going to get a whole mistake altogether. It will be nice to you, but it's the mistake of it.
In the last 2 years, the university student has sold hundreds of pieces of furniture costing between 150 Ghana cedis and 1,200 Ghana cedis. His main mode of advertisement is social media, and on the average, has 4 to 5 clients calling every week for his products.
It takes about, depending on the order that the client asks for, it takes about 3 to 4 days to finish with the client project, because most of the things I do are bespoke. So clients will, they say, okay, I want this color, I want that color, I want this, I want that design that you did for this person, but do it like this for me. I allow clients to be free, so that, they also feel a part of the whole production process. So when you have this thing in your room, you realize that, okay, I give the design out, I wanted it like this, and I have it like this.
Jeffrey has currently employed 2 people, and he's excited about what he does. In fact, his ambition is to create several production centers across the country and pass on the skill to more young people. But what excites him the most is the impact he's making on the environment and the lives he may be saving by collecting these scrap tires.
There's this guy, Boyan Slat. Boyan Slat traveled, he's a diver. He has come up with a research that there are more plastics in the sea than fishes. That is now. So imagine what we will face as time goes on. This plastic tie forms a part of them in the seas. So we have a massive problem with car tires. Because of their shape and sizes, it's very difficult to dispose. The only thing you can do is to throw them in the seas or burn them. And all this have their own problems, carcinogenic problem that they pose.
Yeah. Well, this is not just a Ghana problem. According to The Guardian, every day 100,000 tires are taken off cars, vans, trucks, buses and bicycles. It is estimated that there are now more than 200 million lying around. All right, making money and making an impact on the environment as well. The story of Jeffrey Abwab. That's it for Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. My name is Darryl Kwao. There's more news on our website, joybusinessnews.com. Thanks for watching. We are back same time tomorrow.